These are the 7 questions you should ask before you hire a web designer. Now, you might be wondering, why would that even matter? Well, let me just pull my coat. Okay, I'm back. So, why would it even matter to ask these questions? Well, first and foremost, if you don't properly vet your web designer and just hire for the cheapest one, actually, if you hire the cheapest one, that's also fine. What I mean is, if you hire someone that's quite expensive, you need to make sure that they're properly vetted, like they actually know what they're talking about. The thing is, with web design, even though design is in the name, that's just one factor of things that truly matter. Because your website is basically the central hub of all your digital marketing efforts. So if you're running Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever, usually they lead to your website. Meaning if your website is not properly optimized, not just designed, not properly optimized, then basically it's like you're throwing away money. Because say you get 100 traffic, right? Or 1,000 traffic. But if your conversion is really lacking for your website, say 0%, right? It will always be zero because anything you multiply by zero is zero. So it really, really matters on who you hire as a web designer. So you need to make sure that they actually know what they're doing, right? Again, design is just one thing of the overall things that truly matters in a web design. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let's jump right in. First question that you need to ask. Oh, by the way, if you don't really have the time to ask a lot of questions to your future web designer, I guess, the fourth question is, I would argue, the most important one. So even if you don't ask the rest of these questions, the fourth one will be more than enough, I would say. Okay, for the first question, you should ask, what's your process like? The type of answer that you're looking for here is that they should start with the research phase before they even start designing. Now, the reason for this is a lot of web designers will use templates, which is not really a bad or a good thing. I guess it's only a bad thing if they literally just replace pictures and text. That's really lazy work, I would say. If it's cheap, that's fine. But if they charge you a lot of money for something like that, no, that's a major red flag. Now, with regards to the first step, the only thing that you need to look for is that they actually have to do a proper research. So that's asking you a lot of questions for, I guess, the strategy call. Your first meeting should be talking about your business so your designer can actually align your goals and the website's goals. So for instance, if usually the goal of a website is to get the visitors to actually book a call or book a service, right? But there are also businesses where their goal is to simply just provide awareness or information, which is okay, I guess. So for that, if the two doesn't communicate, I guess, then it also doesn't make sense, right? It can be different with each designer, obviously. But again, it's just that the first step has to be some type of research. And again, and it's not just you, and it's not just your business, right? It's also doing proper research with regards to the competitors in your area, and as well as some keyword research, perhaps, if you guys are doing some advanced SEO. Okay, let's move on to the second question that you need to ask. What parts of the content do you help with, and what do you expect from me? Now, for this, I guess this also depends on the designer itself, because usually what I would do is I will also help write the content itself. And of course, you can also use ChatGPT, but there should always be some sort of human intervention to actually do some copy editing and proofreading for the website content, right? And then there's also the type of content, which is the images. Again, it differs from designer to designer, but ideally they should help with the content itself or the website copy if you don't have a copywriter. The reason for that is the copy or the messaging of the website itself really, really matters. Like, it's such a big deal. It's actually like one of the main things that truly matters with regards to web design. So one of the important things in web design is actually copywriting, which I guess it doesn't really intersect. But again, your website is a marketing tool, meaning it has to properly work, right? It should probably properly convert, and copywriting or your content is one of the ways to do that. So hopefully they will help you with the content of the website. And then some designer, oh, actually not designers. And also, hopefully they will ask for some original images. It's okay if it's not high quality. You can just use your phone to take some pictures, but it's important that it's original pictures because that's also another trust factor and a conversion factor with regards to design or your website is to have an authentic picture. But if they say that they will just grab some stock images, it's kind of okay, but with regards to conversion optimization, it's not. It's really bad. I mean, for some pictures, I understand that there are some pictures that are really, really hard to do. So for instance, if you're doing a really expensive procedure or a service that you can't really just take a picture of, then yeah, obviously that's stock image is fine. And if they're gonna offer a stock content or stock images, it should be already part of the contract. Okay, next question. What tools do you set up for analytics and tracking? Now, there's a lot of tools out there, but generally it's Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Google Tag Manager, and some sort of A/B testing, especially if your website is a big business, I guess. But here's the thing, those tools, those specific tools is not the answer that you have to like look out for, but rather you need to make sure that they actually know about tracking or analytics, right? Because if they say something like, oh, we don't really handle that kind of stuff, well, that's a major red flag because data is absolutely important. How will you know if the website is actually performing well if you don't track the data, right? So if they say they don't do any tracking, that's a major red flag. Okay, now let's move on to what I would argue is the most important question you should ask, or maybe just ask this one question and disregard the rest. Before we proceed to the fourth question, I actually offer a free web audit service. Basically, I will review your website and I guess your overall digital presence to find out what's working, what's not working, and give you some actionable insights so you can actually improve your website yourself without any tech skills, right? And then I bet that if your website is not really properly optimized, you could get a lot more bookings coming from your website when you fix the little things that I might mention, right? It depends. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely free, so make sure to click the link in the description. How will you make sure my site helps convert visitors into actual customers? So this is what I've been saying, that the main focus or the main goal of a website is to actually convert visitors, which is what we call a conversion optimization. So with regards to the answer that you're looking for, it's a bit of combination, but I guess the red flag that you should look out for is that it depends. If they say something like, oh, that depends on your content. So basically, if they leave that conversion to you, then that's a major red flag. Because here's the thing, in order for a website to convert, there's usually three main factors that is to be considered. So look out for this type of answer, like hopefully they know this. So first is the traffic itself. So this is the SEO part of the website, and then as well as Google Business Profile, right? So hopefully your web designer will also help with your Google Business Profile and actually knows SEO. Because how will you be able to convert visitors if you don't have any visitors, right? So that's why it's really important that you actually get some traffic. So SEO is the first answer, I guess the keyword that you're gonna look for. Local SEO to be even more specific. And then the next thing is trust. So hopefully they would say something like they will add a lot of trust. Hopefully they will say something like they will add a lot of social proof within the website, specifically the homepage. So I could show you an example actually. Design inspirations. Let me just look for it. Okay, so there's a lot of social proof that you can add on your website, but I guess the main keyword that you're gonna look for that answer is a social proof or trust, like building trust through your website. So one of those things is the numbers, like number of your years of experience, number of services or people helped, something like that, and years of service. What else? And then you can also show small or simple reviews from your Google in the hero section. And then obviously you can add your testimonials or reviews in the homepage itself. And then another type of social proof is like the affiliations, or if you're working with businesses, you can also like mention those to add more social proof, right? Trust points. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking. And then finally, the final part of that is the copywriting that I mentioned earlier. So again, hopefully they will do even just a little bit of copywriting. And in fact, you can just ask ChatGPT for this. But of course, AI cannot replace an actual copywriter. It's still, I believe it's still worth it to hire a real copywriter. But AI can still be a good help with regards to this. Anyway, they should be able to say that they will also do a bit of copywriting, basically writing the messaging of the website to actually persuade the visitors to buy or book your service. Because for instance, even if we got everything correctly, say we have the traffic, right? We got a lot of traffic from local SEO, and then we also added a lot of social proof to build trust. But if we can't really persuade them to choose us over our competitors, then all of our efforts mean nothing, right? So yeah. Oh, apart from copywriting is the frictionless aspect of conversion. So they should be able to make it easy. The booking should be a lot seamless. So I guess that's a bit of developer skills. And then the design. No, that's it. That's it for that. Basically, I guess the gist of that question is they should be able to say something with regards to the conversion itself and not just leave it up to your content, right? Next is the fifth question. Who will actually be working on my projects and how many other projects, are they handling? For this, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. If you're hiring just a one freelancer, then hopefully they don't have a lot of projects because web design takes a lot of time and it greatly depends on how big your website is. For instance, my delivery usually takes 2 to 4 weeks depending on the website. If it's just a 5-pager website, then 2 weeks is usually more than enough. But if it has more than that, especially for e-commerce, it might take a month or two. E-commerce, it will actually take 2 months. Like it's quite time consuming to do that, right? Because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. It's not just web design, it's not just design. Next, question 6. We're almost done. What happens after the site launches, updates, backups, fixes, and support? Now, here's the red flag that you should look out for with this question. If they say it's up to you now, it's up to you then, like they will ghost you basically, that's quite of a red flag-ish. No, let's say gray. In the gray area, because it will depend on your contract itself. Because the thing is, websites or any type of software actually is never finished. Like that's a common saying in the tech industry. Because there will always be an update, there will always be new changes, and everything changes. Even the security needs to be maintained, I would say. So for that, hopefully they will do a bit of update for you and some backups as well, right? And not just leave you hanging. And here's one thing that I'm not really sure about. Because for me, I do offer this as part of my monthly plan with my clients. For instance, after the website launch, I do a lot of ads for my clients and as well as content marketing. So basically, I just bundled this updates, backups, and basically tech support with their monthly. So it's a lot cheaper, but some people might charge a lot higher. So I guess that is something you need to ask as well, like the price of the maintenance, if they're gonna handle the maintenance itself. But hopefully, they will still help you after the launch and not just ghost you. That's like the main answer that you're gonna have to look for. Now, let's move on to the last question, which is, can you show examples of past work? Now, I guess this one, you can now depend on your guts with regards to the design. Like I'm sure anyone can tell a good design to a bad design, right? Or differentiate a good design to a bad design. So yeah, you just need to make sure that they actually know design itself, because design is also part of the conversion optimization that I talked about. Because if your website doesn't really look professional, then they might not trust you and just jump back to search results and actually choose your competitors, which is not what we want, right? Okay, so those are the questions that you should ask your competitors.